Do you believe in ghosts?
Yeah, depends on the day, I guess.
They say it's one of the most haunted cities in the world.
Hi, I'm Lindy and I'm going to London tomorrow to find out if I can make myself believe in ghosts. I think that may sound a bit strange, but I think a lot of people have thoughts about what comes after death. Like, do we go to heaven or hell? Do we get reincarnated? Or do we become ghosts? There are some people around me who have told me some things they can't explain that happened after loved ones passed away. And I think there's just a lot of people in general who have had some experiences with ghosts or spirits or anything like that. I have personally not experienced anything that has to do with ghosts. I'm curious about the experiences of others, places where ghosts are said to wander, and well, I think London is just the perfect place to find out if ghosts do exist. Because, like, faced with a lot of legends and a lot of terrible things that happened in the past, a lot of deaths. So, yeah, I'm curious how it will go, and I'll take you with me on my journey to find out if ghosts exist. I will first go on a ghost walking tour tomorrow to find out. So I'll talk with you after that.
And proceeded to tell him the story of the phantom fiddle player of Green Park.
Do you believe in ghosts yourself?
No. No, I don't. I wish I could say I did. I definitely think I'm open to the idea of ghosts, but I feel like I'm kind of a person that needs evidence and concrete evidence.
People on these ghost tours, do they believe in ghosts?
I'd say it's probably like 50-50. Usually you have people who are a little bit like skeptical. And I think sometimes maybe people are a bit embarrassed. They don't want to like admit they do.
And have they ever told you like their own story of why they believe in ghosts?
A lot of the time, yeah. You get a lot of people who love telling you their stories. There's one that I remember, a guy who like was a security guard in like a factory. And he said one night he was like hearing these noises. He went into a room and there was a dead rat which was going like this. Like if that's its tail, the rat was like doing that. And he told me that he's convinced that's what he saw. And yeah, people say they felt like, a lot of the time it's like they feel an energy or a presence or like a cold shiver or like whispers or voices in the house.
Yeah, I feel like those stories of like the people you wouldn't expect it from,
Yeah.
those kind of convince me of like, yeah, maybe there could be something.
Could be something out there. Yeah. I just wish they'd like, if it was, you know, a ghost, if it was your like family, they'd pick up a pen and say, hey, it's, you know, it's your granddad, hello.
Yeah, that would be easier.
Yeah. Definitely.
I'm now on my way to the Tower of London. I went on the ghost walking tour yesterday, which was really nice. We had a really good storyteller as a tour guide, so yeah, he told us a lot of great stories about the ghosts in London. He told us about the plague pits in the underground, about a guy with a fiddle in a park, and about someone named Red Rosie, who was murdered by a guy who supposedly loved her, but well, that didn't end well. And then we ended at the Tower of London, just the location I'm at right now. I will be going in a while, and then I'll tell you afterwards what it was like. First stop is the Bloody Tower, starting at Raleigh's Walk. Sir Walter Raleigh was imprisoned here 3 times. He tried to end his life within these walls, and was later executed at Westminster. They say his spirit still walks his path, restless, forever pacing the stones that once confined him. The next stop is the chapel of St. Peter at Vincula. Beneath this floor lies Anne Boleyn, second wife of King Henry VIII, accused of treason and executed in Tower Green. Visitors have reported seeing a woman walking headless through the chapel, said to be Anne herself. Just outside the chapel lies Tower Green, a quiet patch of grass where many met their end. One of them was Margaret Pole. She was 70 years old when she was sentenced to death for treason. The execution was brutal, the axe striking again and again before she finally fell. Some say her screams can still be heard. Final stop is the Salt Tower, once the prison of Lady Jane Grey. She was only 16 when she was crowned queen, and just 9 days later she was overthrown and condemned to die. She spent the last days here, writing words of faith and sorrow on the stone walls. Some believe the spirit never left. I just came out of South London. It is a really beautiful place, really big as well, but there were so many tourists, like that it was so crowded that even if there were any ghosts, I don't think you could actually spot them between the people. But it was nice to go there. But no, it did not make me believe in ghosts anymore. I just went to Highgate Cemetery and it was just beautiful. It was a lovely combination of like the nature and the graves, and there were squirrels walking around and birds flying around. So it was just a really lovely experience. We had a lovely tour guide as well. He told us all about the graves and some people who were buried there. He told us a lot of stories about them. I did not see or hear any ghosts, but I guess that was to be expected. Our tour guide also told us about the Highgate vampire. Like supposedly there was this vampire at Highgate Cemetery in the past, and lots of people believed that there actually was a vampire, and they went on this massive vampire hunt, and they even went into the catacombs and they took out some of the bodies and they decapitated them and pierced their hearts, because that's supposed to work against vampires. But yeah, I think it's just really crazy what people do when they actually believe in something, you know? Yeah, all with all, Highgate Cemetery is highly recommended to go there, although I did not spot any ghosts. I've been to some places now where ghosts are said to wander, but I'm curious, what do the people think? Do you believe in ghosts?
Not really. Not really, no.
No.
No, actually, I don't.
And do you have a reason for not believing?
I think it's just a science fiction book or movie.
Never as a ghost experience.
I think I'm quite like a realistic person, and I've never seen one, so maybe this is the reason why I don't believe in them.
Do you believe in ghosts?
I haven't seen any, so for the moment, no. But maybe in the future, who knows?
And what about you?
I think so. I mean, depends definition of ghosts. If it's kind of like spirits, then yes. But if it's like, Dracula or something, no.
I do.
Yeah, depends on the day, I guess.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah, but I think it's energy. I think that the universe is always expanding, but the energy within it is finite, right? So anything that gets destroyed doesn't really get destroyed. It just sort of becomes atoms and filters into something else. And sometimes what we think are ghosts is sort of residual energy, which doesn't take away any of the sentimentality or emotion of it. I think it's real in that sense.
And have you experienced anything that made you believe in it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Just like weird shit happening when people who I love dearly die, and strange things happening afterwards that even if they are coincidence, what beautiful chaos.
I think there are some unexplainable things. I'm not super conspiratory about it, but I do believe there are some things that are better left, I don't know, unexplained. Maybe some other kind of creatures that we don't understand or get. Usually, I would say well-spirited or good-spirited. Yeah.
I guess I've had my own personal experiences where they were just a bit surreal, so I thought, okay, what could that be? And then, when you think about it a little bit more, it could be that.
Do you feel comfortable with sharing any of those experiences?
I guess a few experiences in my past when certain relatives have passed away, and then things immediately thereafter that happened were just a little bit unconventional, and maybe could be only explained by something like this.
I've had some kind of experiences where I feel like I was close to death, like very in danger of life, and I feel like I had my guardian angel somewhere above me. So yeah, in that way, yeah.
I just went to a museum at the Vaults. It's this temporary exhibition about the occult. It's called Dark Secrets, and then something else behind that. There were masks, and there was stories about witches and witch hunts, and Satanism, cults, and ghosts, of course. I thought it was really interesting to read all of those stories. There were also these haunted dolls, which were really, really creepy. Things that do scare me in horror movies, for example, and it would be dolls. Also, really was scared of the movie Coraline when I grew up, and there was also this haunted painting. Yeah, this painting, it is said to cause disruption in like your phone or your camera or stuff like that. I don't know, it may be just a coincidence, but while I was at the museum, my phone camera kind of got weird. Before and after the museum, it worked just fine. I could take photos normally, but while I was at the museum, like I had a lot of blurry pictures, but it wasn't specifically after I photographed the painting. So I can't say for sure that it was because of the painting, but it is a bit suspicious and oddly coincidental for it to not be, you know? So that does kind of make me wonder if it was something supernatural. Also, while at the museum, I got talking with this guy. He just walked up to me and started a conversation about the witch trials and how awful it was, what happened, basically. He also mentioned that sometimes he just goes to a park or something and he does rituals. We just went past the Satan and the cult stuff, so I was like thinking, you mean like satanic rituals or stuff like that? I guess people still do that kind of stuff, but he did mention that it was not in a bad way. It was just like releasing stress for him, releasing like bad things that happened, and as long as you don't harm anyone with it. So I thought that was an interesting conversation we had. And we also talked about how a lot of people still do believe in things, like in ghosts or in Satan maybe even, and a lot of people just do it secretly. They don't talk about it because, well, people naturally want to be normal. They don't want to be different from other people, so they do still believe, but they hide it more than they did in the past. Yeah, just a lovely conversation with that man. And then he started talking about in the 80s he went with his friends to the Netherlands to get drugs. It's funny how mentioning you're from the Netherlands always ends up in a conversation about drugs somehow, but that doesn't really have anything to do with ghosts, so I'll leave it at that. Out of all the experience I've had so far, this was definitely the creepiest one. And now I'm on my way to meet Hazel and Dean. They're paranormal investigators at the company Spectrum Paranormal, I think it was. But yeah, I'm curious, very curious about what they will say. I guess wish me luck. Could you maybe first introduce yourselves and what you do for work?
Yes, my name's Hazel Williams, and I am the founder and head of investigations for Spectrum Paranormal.
And my name is Dean Williams. I am the operations director at Spectrum Paranormal Investigations, and we are obviously paranormal researchers. That's what we do. To the crux of it, that's what we do. Yeah, so we do get a mixed bag of inquiries, and we're open to all cases, be it genuine cases or trying to help people who feel they have a haunting, to try and help them steer them in the right direction. But we do not what we would call hype up the occurrences. So hence why we don't really like to be called ghost hunters, because we don't really hunt or ghostbusters. Even though I would love to.
We are not ghostbusters, no.
We don't hunt ghosts and we don't bust ghosts. We do try to rule out the normal before we explore the paranormal. That's the whole crux of Spectrum Paranormal.
Yeah, and is it usually that there is something, or is it most cases that you...
My take on this is that if there's a normal, there has to be a paranormal. We get people that obviously, contact us claiming they're seeing, figures climbing up the walls, running around, and, there's things shaking and so on and so forth. But, a lot of these could be environmental factors, things that they can't understand themselves.
Medical issues.
So there's a lot of things that we have to rule out before we even delve into the paranormal. Unless, of course, we turn up and then something happens immediately. I have I'd say it's an ability of sorts where I can walk into a room and feel the change within that area. Even just recently on something we're working on now, I just felt I had to go to this area. Got there and I was told, yes, this is where it happens. This is where people... So yeah, I suppose it is an ability, but I don't like to say it really sort of... I just think All humans have that.
Kind of like an instinct that you follow.
Yeah, that is literally a good way of putting it. I mean, you know, it's an instinct.
I think that ultimately the cases we get, obviously, most of them can be ruled out. 9 times out of 10, they're ruled out either due to environmental factors or other factors. But there is that, you know, those cases that come up every now and then, which do spike an interest and intrigue. And then if we do think we've got something here, then we would need to go back and open a case study, a case file, and go back and repeated visits.
How long does it usually take before you know if a place is active or not?
It can take years. It could take years. Yeah, because when you establish what we may deem contact, well, you want that pattern to continue.
You can't do that in one investigation.
And we did that with Spaniards Inn.
Yeah, the Spaniards Inn, it took us probably over 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's going back every 2 or 3 times a year to really build a proper case study and determine that place is genuinely haunted.
But funnily enough, that place is genuinely haunted. We do use Ouija. It is a form of communication that allegedly is used for contacting spirits. We have had some sort of strange successes on that, which we cannot even to this day explain. Just give you an example: phone numbers that have come up. Dean has rung those numbers and asked if the person that gave us the number, if they're there, only to find out on the other end of the line they've said, no, sadly that person passed away 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. That we can't explain.
Yeah, what does a typical investigation look like?
No research beforehand. We don't like to be primed. Go into a venue, do a baseline test, get an idea of what we're dealing with, conduct the full investigation, review the footage, and then assess the findings, and then write a case study or file.
And if it's good enough, we'll go back. If not, we'll just put a line under it and say, thank you very much, but we can't find anything that's worth
that corroborates the occurrences.
Yeah.
So all these tools are basically environmental tools. There's no ghost hunting tool out there. So, as H said, your body is probably the best paranormal ghost hunting tool that you have. Electromagnetic field meters, it's believed that spirits come through on an energy field, whether that be electric or magnetic. You're going to have, if there's something going on, it's bound to cause disturbances with the energy field in the room at that time. So we monitor, a lot of our job is monitoring the environment, and if there's anything that disturbs that environment, then we should be able to detect it. So this is more modern. You have traditional methods such as Ouija board and trigger objects, and Victorian methods, such as glass
pendulums,
and stuff that's more, bells, stuff that's going to be they can interact with.
I mean, we was investigating somewhere the other day. I asked a question, was underground. I said, can you knock on a pipe, like these old Victorian pipes? I went like this, did 2 knocks like that, and we waited, and then very faintly you heard come back. So obviously excited, I was like, oh my god, did you hear that, guys? Did you hear that? I was like, do it again, and then you heard. We don't know one can hear us where we were, because we were underground, and there's no one else there. I mean, we're in a very secure space, and so that little tiny nugget, it may not seem a lot, but to me it seems the world. We had made contact with something. I mean, that was
either way, we look for small little nuggets that we can put together and say, okay, we've captured probably half an hour's worth of footage over 30 years to say this is genuine evidence, rather than going to every location and say it's haunted and not able this flew past the screen. We don't operate that way. So I think that's why our approach has always been different, and why we've always attracted people like yourselves who know we approach it from a completely different angle, rather than what you see out there, floating ghosts and websites and stuff. We're a bit different than that. Yeah.
We've already come to the end of my journey. Of course, I came to London to investigate if I can make myself believe in ghosts, and I think that has been accomplished. Well, the first 3 things I went to, like the Ghost Walking Tour, Tower of London, and Highgate Cemetery. They weren't very ghost-like, so those three things did not make me believe in ghosts anymore. But then I just went onto the streets and talked to people, and I thought that was really a lot of the experience, really, because they were just like random people I talked to on the streets in a park, and well, over half of them did believe in ghosts or had some sort of experience with ghosts or believed in something more than nothing. So I thought it was lovely to hear all of their experiences. And then the museum, of course, with those really creepy dolls and the painting. I mean, I guess it was a coincidence, but still. Then the talk with Dean and Hazel, the paranormal investigators. It's really lovely to hear their experiences with ghosts, and well, they research the paranormal, so I feel like they know what they're talking about, and they have had experiences, like real life experiences with ghosts themselves. I thought that was really cool. Yeah, I would say that this journey really has brought me something. In the beginning, I think I said I believe in ghosts for like 40%, and I think that has gone up for like 10%, so I believe in them for 50% now. Yeah, I think you could compare it to like a restaurant. Like, say your friends talk to you about this restaurant they really like. They've been to it and they say it's a really good restaurant, and you believe them. You believe that the restaurant is good, but you haven't been there before, so you can't say it's a good restaurant, you know? And it's the same with ghosts, because I haven't experienced anything with ghosts myself, but I have heard stories now from a lot of people who did, and I do believe that they have had those experiences. But again, I haven't seen anything myself, so I can't say I believe in ghosts, but I do believe that there could be ghosts out there. And yeah, I think that just concludes my video. It's a bit awkward to end this, but I think I'm just gonna say bye and then just turn it off, I guess. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.